In a win for Trump, Supreme Court lifts limits on deportations to third-party countries. An ideologically divided Supreme Court agreed to pause a judge's order requiring migrants be given the chance to show they would be harmed if removed to countries other than their own, a win for the Trump administration's efforts to rapidly deport them. Fire up the deportation planes, the Department of Homeland Security said on social media. The decision, June 23rd, came over the objections of the court's three liberal justices, Sonia Sotomayor, Elena Kagan, and Ketanji Brown Jackson. Sotomayor wrote that her colleagues are rewarding lawlessness. Apparently, the court finds the idea that thousands will suffer violence in far-flung locales more palatable than the remote possibility that a district court exceeds its remedial powers when it ordered the government to provide notice and process to which the plaintiffs are constitutionally and statutorily entitled, she wrote in a sharply worded 19-page dissent joined by Kagan and Jackson. That use of discretion is as incomprehensible as it is inexcusable. Yeah, so my understanding is the Trump administration is just deporting people to random places. They're like, so like, let's say that you're here illegally or whatever you've claimed asylum, but they're just going to throw you out anyway because nothing matters in the United States. And that you're from, let's say, Peru. Let's say you're from Peru randomly, and you found your way here, you claimed asylum, but regardless of you claiming asylum and doing everything properly, the Trump administration comes in and says you're here illegally and we're going to deport you, and they round you up, but we're not going to deport you back to Peru. We're just going to send you to, I don't know, South Africa. We're just going to send you to some random place that may be close to Peru. We might send you to Colombia, but we're not going to send you. But the point is that they aren't sending them back where they came from. They're sending them to just some random place. And like that, like, let's put aside the legality of it completely for a second, because like, I don't know where it stands legally. It wouldn't surprise me if like this is legal in some weird way or whatever. But like, let's talk about this morally, right? Is this right? I can't escape the feeling that this is wrong. This is very, very wrong. This is hurting people. And like, even if you're going to somehow make the argument, which is wrong, that them being here illegally is hurting people, which it isn't just by them being here necessarily is hurting people. But like, let's pretend that is the case just for a second. Okay. Even if that was the case, the idea that you need to punish them by sending them to some random country is insane, right? If they're from Peru, for instance, and they've made it all the way to here and now they're being deported, I would imagine the odds of them having the resources to buy a plane ticket when they get sent to South Africa to fly themselves from South Africa back to Peru is very unlikely. You're going to create a scenario where you're not just hurting people, you're really hurting people. You're going to leave people stranded in foreign countries that they don't know the language, they have absolutely no connection to, or no funding or resources or anything. It's absolutely it's monstrous, honestly. This could result in the absolute destitution and honestly straight up death of lots and lots of people. It's totally conceivable that somebody from Peru gets sent to South Africa or whatever. They don't have any resources or any way to buy a plane ticket for themselves. So now they're stuck in South Africa. Oh, and they also don't know the language they speak. So now they're stuck in a foreign country with no money, no family, no resources. Like, it's absolutely disgusting. It's horrible. And it's unnecessary too. There's no reason for us to do it. It's not like it saves us a lot of money. It's not like there's some security reason for it or some specific. There is no good reason for it other than cruelty, other than the cruelty factor. That is the only reason that makes sense. They want to be as cruel as they possibly can to these people. The majority did not give an explanation for their decision, which is common in emergency appeals. We now need to move as swiftly as possible to conclude the case and restore these protections, Trina Realmuto, executive director of the National Immigration and Litigation Alliance, said in a statement. The administration said the order lifted by the justices was preventing potentially thousands of deportations by requiring an onerous set of procedures aimed at preventing migrants from being sent to a country where they fear they could be persecuted, tortured, or killed. The United States is facing a crisis of illegal immigration in no small part because many aliens most deserving of removal are often the hardest to remove, Solicitor General John Sauer wrote in his emergency request. But they say in no small part because many aliens most deserving of removal. but like they have not been going after people who are most deserving of removal. Maybe partially they have, but I've seen tons and tons and tons of evidence that they're going after people that are following the process, that not only are following the process, but they're also going after people that are objectively a positive impact on this country, that are working, that are paying taxes, that are not doing crime, that have kids. This argument is super facetious because they are not going exclusively after who's most deserving of removal. They're going after literally everybody, including those that are following the procedure. I've seen videos of them, like ICE detaining people coming out of their own immigration hearings. If somebody is here going to their immigration hearings, they're here legally. Like, I don't understand what could possibly be the problem with somebody who's followed the procedures to come here and are going to their immigration hearings and are following the rules. Why would you want to do? Those are the exact people you want to keep here. Those are the people that are positive impact on the community and the country at large. But no, they're not just going after the criminals and the rapists and the criminals. They're not just going after those people. All the evidence I've seen is that they're going after the opposite. They're just going after the easiest targets, the people that are following the rules. He complained that the order was forcing the government to hold dangerous criminals at a military base in Djibouti in eastern Africa so they can contest their removal to South Sudan, a problem attorneys for the migrants said the administration created. Wait, they want to send them to South Sudan? Bro, that is like beyond messed up. South Sudan is like one of the most war-torn, destitute countries on the planet. They're up there with Somalia. It's like South Sudan and Somalia, and like I can't. Those are, if you ask me what are the two worst countries in the world, those would probably be my two answers. Why would they want to just send people to South Sudan? That's crazy. That is cruelty. That is horrible. That's horrible. Why would you want to do that? Why? Why? Also, when they say that they're holding dangerous criminals at a military base, okay, first off, they're probably just referring to the people that are deported, right? They're probably arguing by virtue of the fact that we deported them, they were doing something illegal, and the fact that they were doing something illegal means that they are dangerous. That's probably this silly, ridiculous argument they're making. Sotomayor said the government is acting like an arsonist who calls 911 to report firefighters for violating a noise ordinance. U.S. District Judge Brian Murphy in Boston said the migrants need to be told where they are going and given a meaningful opportunity to tell the United States they might be harmed if sent there. A small modicum of process is mandated by the Constitution of the United States, Murphy wrote. To back up his order, Murphy in part cited the Supreme Court's decision in April that migrants must be able to contest whether they can be removed using a wartime law. On May 21st, Murphy said the Trump administration violated his order by removing 8 migrants to conflict-ridden South Sudan without giving them an opportunity to object. The migrants' lawyers said the administration has repeatedly sought to remove people as a punitive measure to some of the most dangerous places on the planet and with only hours' notice. Yeah, it seems beyond up and beyond, like, I can't think of any, like, I try and steel man these positions so much as possible. I can't come up with any steel man for them sending people, like sending any and all immigrants to, really any immigrants at all to South Sudan. I can't think of a single straw man that makes sense other than the cruelty factor, other than being cruel is as a tenet has become part of the Republican ethos. And that this is them trying to who is a group of people we can be extremely cruel to? Well, it's people we're deporting. That's people who we have no legal, like, it's just disgusting. Many, if not most, of the migrants covered by the judge's order have no criminal convictions, the lawyers said. And those with serious criminal convictions who were chosen for the flights to Libya and South Sudan are equally protected under the law from basic human rights violations, they argued. Absolutely. 100%. So yeah, I don't care about the legality of this one bit. It can be totally legally permissible for them to do this, and it wouldn't change my analysis one bit on this. That this is wrong. This is morally wrong. That we will look back on us doing this as a horrible thing. That this was disgusting. That how did we not do something to stop this? I don't know what we could do to stop it, but like, this is morally a horrible thing, and that any tax-paying American, anybody Anybody that likes to think of themselves as an American should be ashamed that this is now associated with them, that this is associated with Americanism, with the United States, with this sort of cruelty. It's completely unnecessary, and it's just nasty, man. It's just disgusting. These are human beings.